Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. First of all, I need to ask a question from you. What matters the most in life? The little things that we do or the big things that we do? Or little changes that happens in our life or the big changes that happen in our life? What matters the most? The real answer for this question is the little things, the tiny little things that we do, maybe good or bad, that matters the most in our life, right? It can change many things in our life in the long run. Let me give you an example. Okay, in our daily life, folding our laundry is a part of the daily life, okay? Imagine if we did not do it. Many people don't like to fold the laundry. What they do is they just take it and they just keep it in their room. They don't fold it. But what will happen if we did not do it? Okay, it keep piling up day by day, and at the end of the week you will have to spend a big time to fold your laundry, keep your room tidy, and also it will give you some extra stress when you enter the room. So what made that stress? What made that waste of time? Not doing those little things, right? But if we take a 5 minute for the day to fold our laundry and keep them nicely. It takes only a few minutes to do that. If we do that, what will happen? It will help us to keep our room tidy and to stay a little bit out of stress, okay? So that is why it is very important to focus on these little good things. The Buddha said, Mavamanyeta punyasa namantang agamisati. Do not neglect the little merits that you collect, thinking that, oh, this won't give me any consequences or any results, okay? Udabindu nipatena udakumbhopi purati. Even the drop by drop collected in a pot, one day that pot will overflow with water. Same as that, the little good things that we collect in our daily life, okay? You collect many good things in daily life, right? Maybe like giving some foods to a pet, maybe like giving some foods to a family member, maybe like being kind to a person. That's a little good thing. That's a tiny thing that we don't focus on. But when those things collect daily, one day our life will overflow with good deeds, good karma. Okay, so that is why it is very important to focus on little good things. Same as the bad things. Okay, there are many bad habits, very little ones, tiny ones. We don't focus on them, right? Especially getting angry. We think, oh, getting angry and becoming angry is a normal thing, normal part of life. But if we keep on getting angry day by day, it will make a habit. Okay, we will be a more angry person. So that is why focus on those little good things and the little bad things, because they can make a big change in your long run. So focus on the little good things, do them correctly, do them nicely, and make your life a happy one. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. I think you can remember, in last video we talk about how little changes, little things can make big changes in our life. Okay, so in life, the little things matter the most. So in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you 3 simple daily practices that can make a huge impact in all of our lives. So if you practice this, it is guaranteed that it can help you in many ways. Okay, so without a further ado, let's dive into the video. So the first practice is to practice gratitude, right? So most of the time, we are not happy with the life that we have gotten, right? We think my life is terrible, right? This is worthless. I'm not worth living. But when you practice gratitude, the first thing that we can do is to be grateful for our life. Every day, when you wake up in the morning, just close your eyes and think, I am grateful for the life that I have gotten, right? I'm grateful for every experience that the life have given me, that made me strong, that taught me many lessons. So be grateful for your life first. As the second step, be grateful for every person who is living around you. Okay, there are many people who have taught you many lessons, good or bad. Okay, there are good people who have given you nice memories, and there are bad people who have taught you good lessons to your life. Be grateful for everyone, no matter who the person is. It doesn't matter. Okay, so the one practice is to practice the gratitude. That is very simple. Take a few moments to do that. So the second practice is to practice mindfulness. During your day, take a few moments, maybe like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, to be mindful about what you are doing. To be mindful, you don't want to sit in one place or like do in a meditation posture. All what you have to do is to be mindful or to focus your mind to what you're doing. Maybe like if you're walking, just know that you're walking. Be mindful about it. Pay your attention to it. Okay? Or sit in a quiet place or sit in a relaxed place. Sit on a chair, maybe sit in the meditation posture, and just focus on the in-breath and the out-breath, how you breathe. Okay? That is one practice that you can practice to be mindful. And the final practice is to have a positive self-talk. Instead of positive self-talk, what we are doing, we talk negatively to ourselves. We think like, oh, I'm worst, right? I don't have any value in this life. Nobody loves me. Nobody takes care of me. The more you do it, it will make you a habit, and it will make your inner personality more negative, to think more negatively. So what we can do is take a little time in the day to have a positive self-talk with yourself. You think you value yourself. Oh, I am worthy of loving, right? I'm worthy of living. My life is great. Okay, I can do many things. I can be more productive than I am. Okay, always believe in yourself. This is one thing that I see in many people and many of our lives, that we can be more productive than now we are. Okay, we can be more productive and more successful than who we are now. Okay, so have a positive self-talk. Then it will make you a big change in the long run. So practice these little simple practices in your day and make your life a better one. Namo Buddhaya. You know, the quotes are very powerful. Why? Because they are very simple, yet they have powerful meanings, and also they easily get stick in our brain and in our mind. So when we go through tough times in life, when we go through problems, they will help us immensely. So that is why it is very important to keep in your memory some motivational and inspirational quotes. Okay, so this quote from the Buddha has helped me in many times in my life, and it changed the whole perspective about how we should deal with the people in the society. How can I deal with the people in the society? So the quote goes like this. The Buddha says, Sabbang paravasang dukkhang, sabbang issariyang sukhang, sadharane vihanyanti, yogahi duratikkamo. The Buddha says, Sabbang paravasang dukkhang. All under another's control is a suffering. Sabbang issariyang sukhang. All under your control, what is under your control is a blessing for your life. Sadharane vihanyanti. The one who expects this world to be equal to everyone and to fair to everyone, he will end up stressed. And yoga hi duratikkamo. Finally, he says, to escape from the bonds from this world and these expectations and attachments from this world is a very, very tough task. So this is the powerful quote that changed the perspective about the society in my life. Why? Because Buddha says, what is under others' control is a suffering. Because in life, we are so busy trying to control what is not under our control. Okay? So what are the things that are not under your control? People's reaction, people's criticism, and how people behave in front of you, how people think of you, what happens to you in the future. All these things are not under your control. The Buddha says that all that is not under your control is a suffering. So do not try to change it. Do not worry about it, because you will end up in suffer. And in the second line, the Buddha says, all that is under your control is a blessing for your life. So it is very important to know what is under your control. So what are the things that are under your control? Everything, every experience that happens to you is not under your control. You know it now. But the reaction towards the every experience is under your control. Okay? People will come and trigger you to be angry. Okay? People can try to make you angry, but you have to make the choice to be angry. So that choice is under your control. You made that choice. So your thoughts, how you think, your thought pattern, your habits, right? Everything that is personal in your life is under your control. If you can do something about it, do it. Go for it and change it. Then you can find the peacefulness and happiness. So it is very important to know what is under your control and what is not. Then you can live happily in this world. So in the third line, the Buddha says, Sadharani vihanyanti. The one who chase behind the fairness and the ones who expect this world to be fair and equal will end up stressed. You see, this world is built up upon the unfairness, right? If you want to make this whole world fair and equal, right, you will not get that result, okay? So that is why if you expect that everything to be fair, you will end up stressed. That is what Buddha says. And the Buddha says, yoga hi duratikkamo. It is very difficult to escape from all these attachments and bonds towards this world. Because when you get too much attached to something, you know what happens. You will end up in suffering. These quotes has helped me in my life in many times. So I think it will be helpful for yourself too. So keep these quotes in your mind and use them whenever you go through tough times in your life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I will be answering a question from comments. So one of our viewers have asked from us that he has mentioned, my exams are near, especially final exams. I am totally stressed and I'm tensed. So I feel like not doing anything. Please help me. And the question ended with a sad emoji mark. So I'm extremely passionate about answering these kinds of questions. So in this video, I will be sharing with you some tips and things that you can practice in your daily life to overcome this exam stress and also the stress in any kind of challenges. Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, you have to remember that not only exams makes us fear or stressed. Almost all the challenges that we face in our life, when we face them, we feel stressed and we feel depressed. Okay, we feel the fear. So fear and the stress and this that feeling, that the tense feeling that is inside your mind is a common human reaction. That means you are not alone in this world. Everyone, including myself, and everyone feels this. Okay, everyone feels that. So you're not alone. So the first thing that you have to understand is what is in your control and what is not. Okay? So let me ask you a question from you. Is the questions that you face in the exam paper, the questions that you get in the exam paper, is it under your control? No, they're not. Okay? You don't know what you're going to face, but one thing that you know is you will be getting one of the questions from the things that you have been taught. Okay? That is for sure, you will get that. So the questions that we get is totally not under our control. How the examiners make the question is not under your control. So if something is not under your control, is it worth worrying about? If you have no anything to do about that, right? If you cannot do anything to change it, no, you don't want to worry about that, because why we should worry about the things that we cannot control or we cannot change? So that is the thing. The exam questions are not under your control. Understand it, first of all. And the next step, what is in your control? Exactly the process, getting ready for the exam, studying, and the amount of hours that you study, and the techniques that you use to study, okay? And how productive you become is totally under your control, okay? So you can do something about that. So if you can change something, if you can do something about that, should you worry about that? You don't want to worry about that because it is totally under your control. Okay? That is one thing. And the next thing that you have to do is to try to be in this present moment. Because in the times of exams, we are so focused on maybe like in the future or to the past. Sometimes if we haven't done anything, like if we haven't studied, what happens with us is we constantly regret about the things that you have done in past. Okay? And if you're stressed about the exams, what will be happening in the exam, then you're constantly regretting or thinking about the future. We hardly stay in this present moment. So what we can do is we can train our mind to stay in this present moment, because you only own this moment, not the past, not the future, but the present. Okay? So do some meditations, do some mindful exercises to be present, to stay in this moment and make a good choice to study, to make a change in your life. That is one thing that you can do. And the another thing that you can do is to get used to this thinking of impermanence, thinking about impermanence. Okay? In Buddhism, it gives a huge space to talk about and think about and reflect about the impermanence. Okay? Whatever feeling that you feel now, maybe stress, maybe depression, maybe anxiety, maybe happiness, whatever the feeling that you feel, let it be good or bad, it is impermanent. It is going to change. So for sure, your exam stress, right, how you feel about exam is also going to change over the time. So you don't want to worry about that. Okay? That is one thing that you can do to focus your mind on impermanence. And the other thing that you can do is to be the best that you can be. Not to be the best in the class, maybe in the school, or maybe in this university, not to be the best, but to be the best version of yourself. Okay? If you try to be the best version of yourself, you try your best to do it. You give your best to do it. You give your fullest potential to do it. Okay? So there's another problem that comes in here. Okay? Our parents have lots of expectations about us. Even that makes us a little bit stressed. So what we can do? This is one thing that I give as an advice for all the students if they have those kinds of problems. You have to maintain a good communication with your parents. Okay? Go to your parents and say, Amma or Tata or Mama or Dada, maybe I cannot be the best in the school. Maybe I cannot take the fullest marks in the exam. Maybe I cannot be the best in the university or somewhere else. But I will try my best in the exam. I will give my fullest potential to study and to be good at exams. Okay? So when you do that, your parents will understand about you. Okay? That is one thing that you can do. And finally, this is one thing that you have to do and you must do during these exam times. Be kind to yourself. Take care of yourself. Sometimes some children, they try harder by not sleeping and spending sleepless nights and not having proper healthy foods and not having proper nutrition while they're studying. That will not help you to be productive. Okay? So you must study as well as you must maintain a good health, because that will help you to maintain a good mental balance. Okay? So be kind to yourself. Okay? If mistakes can happen from anyone, okay? You can make mistakes in your life, okay? But you have to forgive yourself. And also you have to remember that exams are not the life. There are so many things that you can do and you have to do beyond the exams. And this is not the only challenge that you're going to face in your life. Okay? So keep these tips in your mind and practice these things. And then face the exam. So I hope you will get some light on this topic. So I wish all the best and all the very best in your exams. Be more productive and live your life happily. Namo Buddhaya. What do you think about this? Is forgiveness a weakness? And the people who forgive, are they fools? Well, let's talk about this today. Normally, in this world, the forgiveness is oftenly referred as a weakness. People say, no, you should not forgive people. You should not let go of that anger and resentment. You have to take the revenge and you should not forgive people. Well, let me ask you, if you did not forgive people, what are you going to do? You're going to hold on to anger, no? You're going to hold on to resentment. You're going to hold on to grudges. And what all those thoughts makes you, they will make you a negative person. They will hurt your mind. They will hurt your spirituality. That is why we have to understand what is the real forgiveness. So, what is the real forgiveness? Normally, people forgive and they let go of the anger and they forget about the things that they have done. And also, in the next place, they fall into the same trap of the people who used to hurt them. So that is not the correct way of forgiving people. The real forgiveness must be there with forgiveness and also wisdom. So when the forgiveness and the wisdom combine together, then you can forgive people truly and correctly. So have to do that. So when you forgive people with wisdom, you're not saying that it is okay, you hurt me and I'm going to fall into the same trap of you, right? I will believe you again and again. That is not the way. You can forgive people. You can let go of the anger. You can forget about the hurt that they have done to you. And also still, you can stay away from their life and their negativity. Okay? That is where you combine the forgiveness and the wisdom, right? Then, if you forgive like that, if you forgive in such a way, then you will never fall into traps of those people who are going to use you. So, understand what real forgiveness is. When you forgive people, you're not forgiving them. Really, in reality, you're forgiving you, right? You're saying that, no, I'm not going to take this negativity anymore. I'm not going to hold on to this anger and resentment anymore because I love myself. I don't want to hurt myself. I always care about my spiritual development, my good qualities, and my thoughts. So when you do that, you can forgive people and stay away from their negativity and their cheatings. So that is the correct way to forgive someone. So practice this and let go of those angry thoughts and resentments in your mind. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. Today, I want to discuss with you about how can we become peaceful and how can we become calm from our mind. Now we know that we are living in a world where we are constantly bombarded and constantly overloaded with information, with distractions, and all of the chaos. So what happens when we live in such an environment is we become so reactive and we tend to lose our peacefulness, we tend to lose our calmness in our mind. And then what happens is our frustration, stress, and depression builds in. So how can we deal with this? And what can we do to eliminate these distractions and this constant chatter in our mind and have a peaceful mind in the middle of chaos? So today, I'm going to share a few tips where you can practice in your daily life. And then you can, if you practice this, it will be a great help to find peacefulness and calm in the middle of all the chaos. So the first thing that you have to understand is calmness and peacefulness is not an outer source. It doesn't come from outer world, right? It can be found within. So no matter where you live, no matter what the place you live, no matter what you do, if you really focus on this calmness, and if you're clever enough to find that, then you will be able to find the calmness and peacefulness in the middle of all the chaos. So always remember, calmness and peacefulness should be built and should be developed within, okay? And also, you have to remember one thing, that calmness and peacefulness is not about emptying your mind, right? When you become calm and peaceful, it doesn't say that there's nothing in your mind, no thoughts in your mind, right? Thoughts may appear in your mind, right? There will be lots of thoughts and train of thoughts will be appear in your mind. But when you become really calm and when you become serene from your mind, you tend to not to react to all those stimulations. That is what the real calmness and peacefulness means, okay? Normally, when the thoughts appear, right, when all these kind of trains of thoughts appear in our mind, what happens to us is we oftenly react to them, right? We become panicked and we tend to react to them. So the reason why this happens is because we think that thoughts as us. And we tend to think that I am what I think and I am my thoughts. But in reality, thoughts are not you. You are not your thoughts, right? Thoughts are just like they're coming and going. It's like clouds, right? There's the sky and there's the clouds, right? So what is the nature of a cloud? It comes and it swarms around and it goes off, right? Sometimes the sky is cloudy, sometimes the sky is moody, sometimes the clouds are scattered here and there, and sometimes the sky is empty. So you are like the sky and your thoughts are like the clouds, okay? So there's a huge distance between the sky and the clouds. But we often think that the clouds as the sky. Sometimes when it is raining, sometimes when it is moody, we blame to the sky, right? We tend to say that, oh, this weather is not okay. The sky is always raining and it's moody. But sky is not raining. Clouds are what forms the rain, right? Clouds forms the rain. So same as that, when the thoughts appear in your mind, you can take a little step back and think, should I react to this? Should I react upon these thoughts? For an example, if an angry thought came to your mind, what should you do? Just pause a little bit and think, should I react to this?
You can have a little bit of a time and think about it. Oh, this is anger. I should not react to this. This is jealousy. I should not react to this. Okay? It's okay to have thoughts in your mind. But if you want to be peaceful, you should not, and you should choose to not to react to those thoughts. So there are a few practices where we can do in our daily life to to make a little bit of a help to this peacefulness and calmness. One thing that you can do is that you can slow down your body movement for a little time period of the day. Maybe like when you have time and when you're working by yourself, maybe like you're walking, maybe like you're writing something, or maybe like you're studying. Try to maintain slow body movements. Now, why I say this? Because our body and our mind is highly interconnected. Okay? When our thoughts become panicked, our body become panicked. So in the other way, if we calm down and if we slow down our bodily movements, it will be a great help for us to slow down the thought process. Then you can take a little time and think about what comes to your mind. That is one thing that you can do. And also there's another great practice that Buddha told us to do, that is called breathing meditation. When you do the breathing meditation, you reduce these heavy loads of thoughts into two thoughts: in breath and out breath. In breathing meditation, all what we are doing is we are constantly becoming aware of in breath and out breath. When you do that, it's sort of like condensing your mind. It's sort of like making your mind soft and peaceful and non-reactive. That is what you can do. And also there's another thing that you can do, is to not to judge your thoughts and to be aware of your thoughts. I will give you an example. It's like you're watching a traffic pass by the side of the road, right? You can see cars and bikes and vans and buses are going, but you're not going to judge them. You're not going to stop them. You're not going to chase behind them. You sit by the road and you just watch them. Let the vehicles be the vehicles and you be you. In the same way, let the thoughts be the thoughts and you be you. When you become less reactive to your thoughts, you can find that peacefulness and calmness in your mind. So I hope you got some light about the calmness and peacefulness from this video. So I hope may all of you be well and happy, and may all of you be calm and peaceful forever. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Today, let's talk about how can we practice Buddhism. Should you become a Buddhist, or should you convert to a Buddhist to practice Buddhism? This is what we are going to talk about today. Well, first of all, you have to know and you have to realize what Buddhism is. Buddhism doesn't have much of a religious aspects. It is more of, Buddhism should be understood as a practice or a way of life. Okay, so in that sense, everyone can practice Buddhism. It is open to everyone. There is no one to force to practice Buddhism, or there is no one to force you to believe certain things. So it's quite of a free practice, and you have the independence and you have this freedom to practice Buddhism and practice whatever you feels okay, right? If you like to practice meditations, then it's okay, right? You can practice meditations. If you want to practice generosity, this is one of the basic Buddhist practice. If you want to practice generosity, you can practice that. Okay, and also if you want to practice the precepts or living the life in a disciplined way, practice the morals, then you can do it. So it is free and it has this freedom to practice. So you don't want to convert to a Buddhist. You don't want to become a Buddhist. In fact, in the Buddha's time, there was no person called Buddhists. Okay, there were no people called Buddhists. Only there was people, and also there were people who practiced the Buddha's teachings or Buddha's path. Okay, so this is what you have to understand. You don't want to become a Buddhist. There is no process of conversion. You can practice, and it is free to everyone. It is open to everyone. Buddha's Dhamma, this is the Buddha's teachings. Dhamma has this quality called ehipassiko. Buddha says that come and see, right? Come, learn about this, and realize and see this. See the reality of the life. This is what Buddha says. So it is open to everyone. Anyone can practice Buddhism. So there is no exceptions to practice Buddhism. Anyone can do this. So this is what I have to share today. So practice the Buddha's teachings and live a peaceful and a wise life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm in one of our monasteries where it is situated in the hill country of Sri Lanka. If you are visiting Sri Lanka and if you're visiting Allah especially, this is a must-visit place where you can come here and do some meditation and talk with a monk and also breathe some fresh air. So today, in this video, let's talk about breathing meditation. Now, this breathing meditation is one of the most famous meditations in the world, where most of the people do it. So let's talk about this. How to do it, and what is the correct way, or what are the correct ways of doing it. So, breathing meditation, the Buddha called it Anapanasati meditation. Anapana means inhale and exhale. Sati means mindfulness. So, in this meditation, we become aware and we become mindful about our breathing. So how can we do this? Well, according to the Buddha's instructions in the early Buddhism, Buddha says that you have to come to a seated position and you have to make your back straight and nice and straight. And then you close your eyes and you become aware of your in-breath and out-breath, right? When you inhale, you become mindful about I'm inhaling. And when you exhale, you become mindful about your exhale. So this is what you call the breathing meditation, basically. So how can we do this? Okay, so this is what we can do. First of all, we have to find the place where we feel our breath. Normally, we feel our breath at our tip of our nose. When we breathe in, we feel that air touching our nose tip, the hood of the nose, and then it goes in. And when we breathe out, we feel that air flowing out by touching this tip of your nose. So in breathing meditation, we focus our mind and we become aware of this sensation on our tip of our nose. The only thing that you have to do is to be aware of your in-breath and out-breath. The Buddha said, so satova asasati, satova pasasati. He mindfully breathed in and he mindfully breathed out. So that is what you called breathing meditation. But most of the time, people find very hard in breathing pattern and finding in this breathing pattern. One of the most frequently asked question is, should we control our way of breathing? Should I control my breathing? Should I intentionally breathe? This is an advice that we can give to those people who try to control of your breathing when you do the breathing meditation. If you are a beginner, right? If you're just getting into the breathing meditation, it's okay to breathe intentionally. Take some few breaths intentionally and take these intentional breathings until you feel familiar with your breathing. Because most of the time, we don't become aware of our way of breathing, no? We do certain things in life, like we live our day, but we are not becoming aware of our breathing. So it's okay to breathe intentionally by controlling your breath while doing the breathing meditation until you become familiar with the breathing. And then you should not stop from that. Then you have to find that natural way of breathing, right? You can be aware of the natural way of breathing. You don't force your breathing pattern. You just become aware of that. Okay?
When you breathe naturally, and when you become aware of your natural way of breathing, you can find that it is very soft and gentle. It's very slow. Then you're forcefully breathing in or not. Okay, so what do you have to do? At first, it's okay to breathe intentionally and control your breath. Do whatever you feels okay, because the most important thing is to getting used to this meditation, and then we have to step to the next step. Okay, and also remember, you don't want to force yourself to do these things, right? Do not force your mind, and do not by force do the meditation. When we do the meditations, any kind of meditation, what is the purpose of doing that? What is the first purpose? Meditations are meant for calmness and peacefulness. You have to feel good and feel okay of doing them. But if you force your mind to do the meditation, then you don't enjoy that meditation. You will not enjoy that meditation. So what you can do is, do not force your mind. Sometimes your mind may wander here and there while doing the meditation. It will be distracted. It will think of a lot of things. But forgive your mind. Forgive yourself and take back that distracted mind to this sensation of in-breath and out-breath. Become aware of it. You can stay for a little while. Maybe you can stay for a little while, and then you will be distracted. But don't be discouraged. Okay? Don't give up. What you have to do is take back. Keep doing this. And when you get familiar and when you get used to this meditation, you will feel calm and peaceful. So this is the basic introduction and basic way of doing the breathing meditation. So practice it whenever you have time and feel that your mind becomes calm and peaceful. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. In today's video, let's talk about how to control our negative emotions and how to control our mind. Well, the nature of our mind is it always likes to wander in negative emotions and negative thoughts. Negative thoughts like anger, desire, or lust, or then jealousy, maybe resentment. These are the negative thoughts that our mind likes to wander in. So how can we control it? Well, our great teacher Supreme Buddha introduced us a gradual training where you can practice this controlling of negative emotions or negative thoughts in your mind. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce them to you. So first and foremost, before getting into these steps, there is one thing that you have to practice, and there is one thing that you have to master, and that is awareness. If you are not aware of what you're thinking, if you are not mindful about what you're thinking, then you cannot control it. So you have to totally understand and you have to totally be aware of what you're thinking. Okay? So whenever you become aware of what you're thinking, then you will have that power to control it. So here comes the first step. Buddha says, whenever you become aware of your mind is wandering in negative thoughts like anger or lustful thoughts or resentment or jealousy, the first thing is to shift your thought pattern to something wholesome. There are some wholesome thoughts in your mind which makes you peaceful. Maybe like thinking of something that you have done in the past, like maybe you helped someone. Whenever you think that thought, your mind becomes happy and peaceful. So what you're going to do is, whenever you become aware of your negative thoughts, we're going to shift our thought pattern to something that is wholesome, something that makes us peaceful. So that is the first thing that Buddha says. Shift your thoughts to wholesome thoughts. If that first step did not work out, then what you have to do, go for the next step. What is that? Buddha says, think about the disadvantages of thinking negative emotions, right? If you are constantly having angry thoughts, then you have to think, these thoughts are hurting myself and others. If I take actions according to these thoughts, it will hurt myself and the others. Remember, it may be a little thought of anger,
But if it grow up, what will happen? It will be destructive. So what do you have to do? Think about the drawbacks or disadvantages of thinking these negative thoughts. Then, whenever you see these disadvantages, your mind will tend to stay away from these negative thoughts. Most of the time, we are not aware of these disadvantages. Okay? So what do you have to do? Think, if I keep on thinking these negative thoughts, it is not going to help me. It will disrupt my peacefulness. Right? That is the second step. Then as the third step, Buddha says, pay no mind, pay no attention. If the second step did not work out, go for the third step, to not to pay any attention to that thought, right? See, whenever we give so much attention to something, maybe a thought, it grows again and again, it grows more, right? For an example, if you became angry with someone and if you keep thinking about him again and again and becoming angry, that anger will grow more and more. So what do you have to do? We have to let the thought be a thought without paying much attention, right? When you just stay away from giving attention, then it will fade away from your mind. It's something like this. Have you seen little babies, when they fall down, they start to cry, right? If the parent or the mother or father see that it is not a big deal of falling, if mother or father did not give any attention to that baby, what does he do? He just don't care about that. He will stop crying. Same thing goes with our mind. If we did not pay any attention to that thought, right? If we did not care about that thought and just let it go and let it pass away from our mind, then it will fade away. That is one way of doing that. If the third step did not work for you, then the Buddha says, go for the fourth step, to relax your thought process, right? Now remember, when you think negative thoughts, your mind becomes so much busy, so much rough and distracted. So what you're going to do is, you're thinking, why am I thinking these distractive thoughts, these negative thoughts that are making me so much busy and making me distracted, right? So what you're going to do is, you're relaxing your thought process to something very soft and subtle. Maybe like loving kindness, maybe like compassion, right? Maybe like gratefulness. When you think those thoughts, when you think more positive thoughts, your mind or your thought process becomes so much relaxed. And then if the fourth step did not work for you, then it comes the final step. This is something that we have to do with a great care. I do not recommend for everyone to do this. This should be done with a great experience and a good practice, right? And that is to crush your thought with awareness, right? You have to be totally aware of your thinking pattern and have a good determination to your mind that I am not going to think these negative thoughts, right? But this should not be done by everyone, right? Some may be not good at this, right? If you keep on becoming aware and if you keep on forcing this mind, it will grow more and more these negative thoughts. So if all those 4 steps did not work for you, then you have to go for the final step, right? So it is much better to practice these 4 thoughts before doing the final one. Okay, so practice these things. When you practice, you will feel and you will understand that your negative emotions are fading away little by little. Remember, this is not going to happen overnight. It will take a long time to do this, but you have to keep on practicing. Keep on doing it. Make it a habit, and then you will become a master of it. So practice this practice and make your mind a place where free from negative thoughts. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome everyone to another video. Today, let's talk about something that is really important for all of our lives. Now, if you want to be good at anything that you want to be good at, let's say if you're studying, or if you're meditating, or if you are someone who is practicing the spiritual path, what is that one quality that you have to have in your life to be a master of it? If you're studying, what is that one quality that you have to have in your life to be a master? That is called consistency. Have you ever thought about why we are so good at bad habits or bad things? Bad things like anger, getting angry all the time, or feeling jealousy all the time, or bad things like procrastination or laziness. Why we are so good at these things? We are so good at these things because we have done it over a long period of time continuously, right? If you start getting angry, or if you start losing your temper again and again every single day, what will happen? You will be good at it, okay? If you are procrastinating the things that you want to do, then you will be a good procrastinator. So one main important quality to be good at anything in this life, or to have a habit to our life, is consistency. That is why we are so good at bad things. So we can use this theory or this consistency for our own benefit, right? If you're someone who is studying, right, you have to do it every single day, again and again, repeatedly, even in the days where you don't feel like doing it, because that is the hardest part, and that is the most important part. When you feel like not doing it, but if you keep doing it, if you keep moving forward, if you keep going through it, then you will be able to make a good habit of it. And once you become good at it, or once you make a habit in it, then it will be so easy for you. So that is why our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, said that when you practice the spiritual path, right, when you practice meditations, do it again and again and again. Do not do it like here and there, once in a week, once in a blue moon. When you do that, and when you expect more results, you will never get it. So that is why Buddha said, Mettaya bhikkhave cheto vimuktya asevitaya bhavitaya bahuli kathaya. Buddha said, when you practice the mind of loving kindness, this is about practicing the loving kindness meditation and mind of loving kindness. Asevitaya bhavitaya bahuli kathaya. That means you have to use that mind of loving kindness. You have to do it again and again, consistently, bahuli kathaya. Use it again and again. When you do that, you will be good at it. And the loving kindness, or the love, or the patience, or the compassion will be a part of your life. Okay? So when you meditate, when you practice spiritual practice, or if you're studying, or if you're in a profession, if you are developing a skill, then what is the most important thing to have in your life to be good at it? The consistency. So do it on the days that you don't feel like doing it also, right? When you do that, when you move forward through it, then you will be a master of it. But here's the most important thing that you have to have. Do not judge your progress in your life, right? We are so busy to have quick progress, quick results, because we are used to this instant world, right? We live in an instant world, right? We can find everything we want in our mobile phone, right? If you want to Google something, instantly you get the results. So we are used to this instant world. But when it comes to the spiritual practice, when it comes to the soft skills, or developing the skills that you want, it is not that easy, and it is not that instant. You have to do it little by little, and you have to expect little progress from one session. So do not judge your progress. Do not judge your improvements. The most important thing is to do it every single day. Keep moving, and then you will be a master of anything that you want to be a master of. Okay, so I hope you got some idea about the consistency and the value of it. So keep practicing and keep doing these things. So I wish you all, may all of you be well and happy, and may all of you live in peace forever. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. Today, I want to talk about something really important for all of our lives, especially in these days. And that is the things that we should not speak with others, according to Buddha's teachings. Now, at first, you might be thinking, well, I'm not a Buddhist, so why should I care about these things? Here's the thing. These principles can be applied to anyone's life, regardless of their religion or belief system. So that is why these speeches are called 4 unwholesome speeches. That is what Buddha said about these speeches, 4 unwholesome speeches. So without any further ado, let's dive in. First of all, we have lying. Now Buddha said, stay away from lying. Now I know we all have said white lies here and there in all of our lives, right? But whether it is a white lie, whether it is a black lie, gray lie, or a red lie, no matter what the lie is, lying itself can be so harmful for all of our lives. Why is that? When you lie, it destroys your trust. When you lie, it destroys your character, right? So that is why it is very important to have trust between people. In our daily relationships between people, the most important component of a happy relationship is the trust. So that is why Buddha said, live a truthful life. And it is very important to have that transparency and honesty in our relationships. So the first thing that we have to stay away from is lying. And next we have divisive speech. What do you mean by divisive speech? Divisive speech is all about creating drama between people or creating conflicts between people using your words, right? It can be gossiping or it can be talking behind someone's back, right? I must say that when you talk these words or when you use this divisive speech, it is not a good thing for your life. And also it is not a good thing for other people's relationships. So Buddha said, do not use this divisive speech. Do not break the relationships between people using your words. Most of the time, we use the divisive speech out of jealousy or out of anger. So that is why it's very important to stay away from divisive speech. And the third one is, Buddha said, stay away from harsh speech. Now, when someone is calling you or when someone is treating you with rude words, how do you feel? Now, we all have been in this receiving end of such speeches, no? How did you feel? We felt sad. We felt depressed. We felt down about ourselves. So that is why Buddha said, do not use your words to put someone down, right? Do not use your words out of anger. This is all about criticizing and name calling and putting someone else down with your words, right? So Buddha said, stay away from harsh speech. And finally, Buddha said, stay away from idle chatter. What do you mean by idle chatter? Idle chatter is all about speaking meaningless or useless things, right? Now, that doesn't say that we cannot have a small chat or a fun talk with people. We can do that, but we have to know where our limit is in our speech, right? We have to set the boundaries in our speech, right? We have to know where our speech become unproductive, right? When you use these words, when you use your words in a meaningful way, you can create a positive life. And you can create a positive emotions or positive feelings in others' lives too, right? So these are the 4 unwholesome speeches that we have to stay away from, that our great teacher Supreme Buddha taught us according to the Buddha's teachings, right? So why all these things matter? Why these unwholesome speeches matter in our life? Well, Buddha said, the words that we speak can create either positive or negative karma in our life. Do not think lightly about this karma, right? You have to be very careful about the karma. So the intention behind your words really matters in your life. And that is why we have to use our words wisely, because it can make a huge impact in our lives as well as in others' lives too. So words that we speak are like a knife, right? You can use the knife to cut something useful, right? And also you can use the knife to kill someone else. So let's use our words to create a better life for ourselves and for others. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you got some food for thought for your life. So until next time, I wish you all, may all of you be well and happy, and may all of you live in peace forever. Namo Buddhaya.